I'm here to support the nurses, including me, on not bringing in the union to represent us in terms of negotiating with the leadership of the hospital.
I'm here today to support the nurses at Providence Little Company. I have to tell you, I have been with Little Company Mary for 31 years. I have had one employer my entire nursing career, and they have been supportive about me going to school, changing areas of focus, whether it was oncology. I'm currently the wound ostomy continence nurse, and Providence Little Company has always been there for me.
I think the state of healthcare is such that there's a limited amount of money, and you can only pay so many people a certain amount of money, and you have to have the necessary equipment to provide the health care, and it's got to get divvied up somehow. And in this healthcare environment, the dollars are going away, and it's getting harder and harder to make money. And so I don't know if people realize that it's bigger than just one professional salary or things like that.
CNA or any union is business, and there's a direct conflict between being faith-based ministry and being a business. And you can look at for-profit hospitals and you can look at faith-based, and you can make the decision.
I think it's going to change the vibe of how we have a relationship with our managers. I know that my managers, my clinical supervisors, my charge nurses, they're not just superiors to me, they've actually become family. So the thought of not being able to kind of sit down with them, discuss options, it's not that I understand I can still go to them, but for them to produce change that could potentially be against what's written in a contract, I feel like my hands are tied, and so are theirs. And I don't want to take that away from them. I feel that, we're advocates for patients. My managers are advocates for me.
The union wants to be our voice. We feel in this hospital that our voices are strong. They're dedicated to our core values, and we feel that we can speak for our hospital and our community better than any union rep.
My thoughts are that it would take longer to make any changes, and change as it is very hard to do. To have a union have to come in and represent us on every step, and some things are common sense and some things aren't, and I think we're knowledgeable, educated people, and we can educate ourselves, and to have somebody else do that for us, personally I think it's insulting, but so I feel that it would slow down the process of change.
And I think for nurses who are going to be asked to put so much money per pay period of their base pay for something that has no guarantee is concerning.
I feel that I don't need anybody to intervene between me and my leadership. I feel that I can go straight to the leaders and voice any issues or concerns I have. I have different venues to do that, and I don't need to pay somebody else to come in and do that.
We want to know where union dues are going. Nurses who join the union have no control over their union dues. And that concerns me, because all of a sudden you're taking me as an individual and giving the power to somebody else. And the last time I checked, I was smart enough to make decisions as to where I can spend my money and where I want to put my influence. What happens with CNA is they disempower me, the individual nurse, and they are there by selecting where they want their focus to be.
We've seen that a lot of the money goes outside of California and supports things that nurses really aren't supportive about, mainly being partial abortions. We are not for that, and I don't really understand how the CNA or the unions can go from patient care into lobbying us for something that's completely irrelevant against our hospital.
We have these unit-based councils, we call them UBCs, and they're staff nurse leaders, not a manager leader. The staff get together and they talk about concerns they have on the unit. We provide some structure in terms of we want to specifically address problems, not just have it be let's get together and have a good time. It's specifically brought together to help identify those problems and work on processes to improve them. So in that, the nurses are very involved. They lead that. They make it as effective as they want it to be. We provide leadership to help provide resources or facilitate processes. And give them some guidance.
I am a part of one of the groups here for professional practice, And we're very much geared towards reaching goals to become a magnet hospital. To think that every effort that we've made, or I personally have made with the group in the last year and a half as being a member, could potentially be taken away is disheartening.
We know that the CNA and some other unions are partially responsible for Davis losing their magnet status, so that's something that we really want to stay away from.
I think that most are saying, well, it's because the union came in. It's not. It's because we have a leader that came in that wanted to represent us as nurses. The important thing to keep in mind is that Michael wasn't someone that just came in and said, I'm a CNO and I've been in upper management my whole life. He came into our hospital as a rookie RN. Just like me, I started a year and a half ago. So I know what it's like to be new, and I appreciate the fact that he is not just representing us, he is one of us. He has all the motivation in the world to stand up with us, not for us, but with us, to bring about change. Let's give the guy some chance. 6 months to make that amount of change is great. What can happen in the next 6 months?
Going to rallies like this, meeting with people who are educated, talking to leadership, looking at the other side, because we are getting material from the unions telling us what they have to say. I've talked to people from other hospitals about what has a union done for them, and initially they get promised a bunch of things and they don't always pan out.
I just urge everyone, whoever is listening, to just stop for a second. Let's put the anger and animosity and frustration aside for just a second. I understand the frustration at times to just stand there and say, I'm never going to get this done. 12 hours is just not long enough. I need the support. But just as quickly as, I have personally had problems on the floor, rather than sitting there and just letting it happen, I started talking. I started talking to my nursing colleagues. I started bringing it to my manager. I started bringing it up in meetings. I can't say that change occurred overnight. I can't say that everything's been cured. I can say that since, Michael came on board, for the first time since I started working here, I feel like there's a heart. There's a heart and a soul that's working behind us nurses that is motivating. And his energy when he walks into RN mandatory meetings, it's not fake. He really wants us to succeed. So let's give Michael a chance. Let's just do it. Let's stand up together. Let's say no against unions, and let's do it.
Brothers and sisters, hi! Without you, we wouldn't have 40-hour work weeks or minimum wage. And here we are, standing together to unite. My name is Stacy. I'm from Little Company of Mary in Torrance. I work in the emergency department, and I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 5 years, and we both work there together. Last year, we tried to organize, and we've been trying to organize the nurses together with CNA, but we've had some problems, as you can probably guess. The management obviously has a huge profit margin they want to protect. $6 million a year some of the executives are making. So I think if they just sold one of their yachts, we could have a little bit more resources for patient safety and patient care. Woo! Just one yacht. I mean, we don't even need to sell 5 of them. I mean, it's not a big deal. But at any rate, I really admire my coworkers in the emergency department. They're working without resources. They're out of ratio. They're working understaffed, and they need help. We have to stand together and come together and make a union here with the nurses. And we need your support. We need everybody's help. On September 6th, we're going to have a rally. Management has responded by, there's flags everywhere. Management has responded to our organizing efforts by, what are they doing? Oh yeah, union busting. Crazy, right? We have union busting meetings every hour on the hour. They're giving misinformation, telling people they're going to lose their wages and they're going to lose their jobs. They're harassing nurses. They're keeping nurses off the property. And we need it to stop. We need your help. We need your support on September 6th. We need everybody to come together, support us, because we take care of all of you, and we need you to take care of all of us, okay? So, thank you very much. Hi there, brothers and sisters. My name's Jean Dada, and I'm a nurse from the Company of Mary in Torrance. Isn't this a beautiful Labor Day? Yes. I have a long history with Little Company of Mary. My hire date reads 1988, but in truth, it's much, much longer than that. My mother worked there in the 60s. And here's her picture. I don't know, you probably can't see it, but here's a picture of her way, way, way back in the 60s. All three of my daughters were born there. And I have been a neonatal nurse there for many, many years. Let me tell you a little bit why I am with this organizing effort. I believe in patient safety, and I believe in a voice, and that voice should be the voices of the nurses. There has been so many changes in the years I've been in nursing, and there's going to be a lot more changes in the years to come. And the only way to ensure that this is going to be accomplished with the highest quality of care is if we organize and stand united. And to protect these rights, we have to be organized and win the vote come September 11th. We are going to have a rally, and the rally is going to be on September 6th. And we need your support. It'll be 11 o'clock, September 6th, in front of the hospital. And that's why I stand before you today, because a lot of you have already achieved the right for better working conditions, and some of you are still working for that right, and we want to achieve that ourselves for that September 11th vote. It would be an honor for the fellow union members to show their support and join us, because my vision is for a National Nurses United that can and will make a change, a positive change for patients, communities, and for us, the nurses of Little Company of Mary Hospital.
Thank you, Jean, Stacy, CNA. Thank you very much.